If you look at what's going to happen in the next 30 years, we're going to have doubling truck traffic and increasing car traffic by 30%. I thought that the president did a disservice when he came out and he said, yeah, we need $556 billion for infrastructure. Well, there's two problems with that. It's easy to say that, and I agree. We could spend that much. We could do it. This bill that we had, the robust bill that we had in 2005, it was a huge success. But that just not much more than maintained what we had already. This is what we ought to be doing. And I think that the other thing I didn't like about his statement was he wants to change this from the Highway Trust Fund to Transportation Trust. We know what that means. That means that I've been around long enough. I was on this committee in the House for 8 years before coming here in 1994. We used to have surpluses. You remember that? Always had surpluses in the trust fund. Then all these hitchhikers came along. They wanted to get their deal, you know, I don't care if it's bike trails or high-speed rail or everything else, instead of just maintaining and building highways, bridges, and construction. So I would be opposed to that, and I think what we need to understand is we would not be here today if we had 2 years ago. Tomorrow is the second-year anniversary of the stimulus bill, $800 billion that was supposed to stimulate. Do you know how much of that went to roads, highways, and construction? 3%. Now, Barbara and I joined hands. We had an amendment to increase that to pay for everything where it was spade ready in America, and then come up and use that for a 6-year bill. We wouldn't be here today. People would be working, good things would be happening. So I think it's a very difficult thing to come up with the funding because we're talking about huge amounts. But when you stop and think about all the money that's been spent, right now we're looking at a budget that came out from the president that $8.7 trillion in new spending, $1.6 trillion in new taxes. All this, the deficit that he's proposing now is more than the 1996 budget to run the entire country for a whole year. That's just the deficit. So, you know, the money's out there, it's not been directed in the right places. So we're going to look at all possibilities, areas where you too can use your resources and your influence to try to help us come up with a way to have a robust bill. So we're all together on this, and we'll get started.